Yeah, I've been saying that I really need Zoom to make like a Patrick Stewart in Star Trek filter so that I can be like, computer, start the recording. Okay, fine. Okay, so we're talking about your composition, and I think we were basically, for all intents and purposes, done. So let's listen to it one time. But which today was called "And Again," but what is the title?
And again, dot, 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 soaring and falling.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So here we go. Yeah, I think you basically got it now. There's a few things that you could do to, like, okay, so now you keep practicing it to get a more polished performance. Um, and then there's a couple of places, mainly it's about smoothing out the transitions, I think, from section to section now.
Okay.
So, um, and I like it because now this has taken a kind of a more central thematic role, if you will, the way that we're featuring it now, or that you are. Okay, I'm still a half step flat in my whole universe, so that's it. So we're gonna notice it here, but the first thing I would say is that it'll sound cool if you make the articulation of this little bit slightly different on the intro from the one going into the second time through the form. And
Okay.
so um and so it just really depends on how you want to pace it. Like you could make the first one have kind of more of a dramatic pause, and then the second one be kind of straight through. Or you could reverse that, or you might come up with something else. But I probably would put the pause on the first one, but well, I know what I would do, which is I would try both of them, record them, and go, oh yeah, I like that better.
Okay.
Okay, so Okay, so I closed the file by accident. I hate when I do that because we're listening to it. That's the one place I think where I have like sort of formal misgivings. It's definitely not wrong, but
Right.
it's sort of like everything else is so smooth, it's a little bit abrupt. So it's a little bit just slightly jarring. I don't know if that's really what you, and I think, let's see. Hmm. Maybe, oh, maybe light. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. What we were trying to do is transition to this. So let's see. We're here. Let me. So I would have to now have to trace it back to the part before. And then we're here. Except we're here. Oh. Okay. For me, I like that. There's a lot going on in here. Um. So G, sort of a D thing, back to G. E minor, sort of this D thing with that G still in there, and then whenever what happens here is that you've got F sharp going up to G and A going up to B flat, and we have not heard B flat yet, so it just really strikes us. So at least to my ear, and I would definitely, like, in order to really know that I had this licked and settled, I would record it and then see what it sounded like when I was away from the instrument. But I went to that one because we've been using that one to transition to the next sections, right?
Yep.
And so every time going there, and so and that is really nice because again, this is sort of a D chord, but you get a really strong, like, to the ear, very sensible thing where you go bump bump, like everybody knows what that is in the key that you're in. Your ear doesn't have any problem sorting it out. It's very easy to follow. Oh, sorry. Your ear can sort that out too, but there's a little bit more mystery in it. There's something that we would call pentamerous harmony. It's borrowing from minor, whatever. And to me, that would smooth it out because I get this thing that's familiar. You know, we've been doing on the other verses, and just smooths that out, and then we can go. Let's see what you did from there, because now I don't recall. And now I have to reopen that file. Where the heck did it go? Luckily, the name of the file is super helpful. Okay, wait. want to say one thing about it. Is that the interesting thing is this in and of itself doesn't sound terrible all by itself. It sounds pretty okay by itself. It's really, to my ear, in the context of the whole piece where I want this extra blend, you know? And that's why you have to keep checking the whole context, and why the recordings are really helpful is because, you know, when you're noodling with one piece of it, it's easy to lose perspective. So you go out and you check it. I just stomped on that. I'm gonna play it again. There we are. Yep. B flat, C, D minor. Okay, there's something that bugs me there in the larger context too. It's just tricky playing with this borrowing from minor thing in a tune like this is the most delicate part of the whole thing, because you're making the biggest harmonic leap, and you know the whole sense of the piece is very gentle and smooth, and I think that that's what I'm reacting to, is that I really want to smooth that transition back. So that's what you do. I mean, you might be able to just skip it, but then I'd need to hear it in context, the whole thing, to be like, yeah, okay, that works. Honestly, that might work, especially if you doubled the time on that chord right there. Right, so I'm not sold. Oh, so I think the thing I thought of earlier is maybe. Oh, I was going that on the way down. Okay, now I just threw something new in, so it might work or it might not. But it was the thing that I thought of, right? And this is sort of creative process, is just go with where the flow takes you. So what I did was I took this grip up 3 frets and then resolved it to the B. It sort of helps the ear because we've got this B flat in our ear to resolve it from the C. It follows a lot more of the convention, and we're just talking about being gently, be gentle with this whole thing. So let's hear that. Oh, okay, maybe this is gonna work. Ready for this? So you just maybe dovetail the whole thing all the way through. Let me see if I can do that right.
All right.
So you don't actually get a real stop pause, right?
Right.
But you get a little bit of a retard, a little slowdown. I kind of like that. Like my gut right now is telling me like, oh yeah, that's the thing. So B flat, C, D minor, E minor, stick on the D. And it's beat 4 of this pattern here. Oh. And then jump back, circle around it. And maybe a nice long pause there. So if I take it from this last time, D minor, oh, double that, 4, so you'll get a little surprise there, but I think that's going to work nicely. And then you're back to. And then the big surprise to me today in listening to your version was last week we talked about moving somewhere else. I can't remember where we had it ending last week, but after listening to this version, I was like, oh, you could end right there, and it sounds kind of cool. You know, it's like it's sort of like the balance thing of the whole thing. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm human and I can be wrong, or just how the whole thing has evolved. That sounds balanced to me now.
Okay.
So, the thing you're playing on the very end doesn't sound wrong or anything, but when we got to that chord, so I'm just gonna play the end of your recording. So this is the end, last verse, if you will. Right? Could do it. Okay, sure. And like it's live music. You could have alternate endings, director's cut, whatever.
Right.
Okay. Let me see if I can play this whole thing. No doubt I will play it wrong. But okay. man, I think I may be back to the drawing board there. I don't remember what I did. I did this.
Now you're going to go down. You're going to go to the.
Oh yes. I spent a time on the other time coming out of it. You can see. That's the other thing. You know, it's fun. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because obviously I don't remember it, but we got a recorded. Is I want to say this because it's more important about the process. Is that is the other reason why I like recording so much is that if you're so fully in that flow statement, in that flow state, like you know, it's a real trick to remember everything, you know, and then you end up stopping, and in order to, like, if you didn't have the recording equipment, then you end up stopping to remember stuff, and and that can be, then it gets you possibly out of flow state. It's one reason, like in my own creative stuff now, I've moved a lot of the way that I create. I write mostly on the piano now, but I also like will notate as I'm going. Is that really true? Nah, I do both. I do recording and notation. But the nice thing about notation is that you are, like, as you're creating, you're also recording. So it's the same, but older medium. Anyway, but that was a good example of like, oh, I did this stuff. It was like 5 minutes ago, but I was so deeply in the moment of doing it. When I got back to that piece of the song, I was like, oh wait, what was that again?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, but we got some recordings. Do you have any questions on any of that stuff that I just did to make sure I don't leave anything out?
No, I'm good.
So, this doesn't surprise me. Like the whole like balance stuff of it. Like, okay, you know, that's how it kind of shifts. And I think, you know, this is, I can't remember, the 6th video on this subject, or maybe 7th. So it's like 6 weeks working on something. And like, you know, it might have gone faster. Like, you know, I see you once a week or whatever, but it could have gone faster if like, obviously if we'd seen each other more often, but you know, maybe not. Like, honestly, that's 6 weeks, pretty good pace to put something together. Sometimes things go faster and they just go bang. And sometimes things you take a long time because you have a more complex problem and you're trying to work it out. And just constantly being in the process of making stuff makes it possible to have those moments where it's just like something just comes out and bang, you know, it's you finish it in 3 days or whatever. I'm gonna try one more time to play this thing. We'll see what happens. But, okay, this one's for all the marbles. But it's funny because I pretty much got all the changes that time that we put into it, and that pretty much works for me. And even ending there pretty much works for me. I did. You'll notice like on that very last verse, I going into the last verse, like on the end of the bridge section in sort of G minor, B flat, whatever. I was thinking about what I was going to do. Like I was kind of hearing it and processing it in my mind in real time. So I kind of made a little goof. I forget what it was now, but I made a little goof coming back to the last section. So just to kind of cover it, that's why I like went a little quiet, because I was like, oh, how can I make this in the process of playing it? How can I make what I just did sound right? Right. Right. So, that's a really nice piece. I really congratulate you on your work on this thing and doing all that work of like all those iterations and lots of recordings and all that stuff. It's really, really fun. And I really like what you've done. I mean, it's really beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's been good putting it together with you, and I appreciate all your feedback,
Yeah, it's super fun. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna stop this thing. Hey, if you're on time and you're in tune, you're okay. It's good.